let's get started. A quick thing about these, remember that you paint these 14-day challenges in grayscale, and the grayscale represents your fragmenting the learning process when it comes to color. You're breaking the lesson into two. You're saying, okay, I'll deal with color later, but under color sit values. Under color sits the form. The form is irrelevant of the color because what the form is dependent upon is the light source. So we separate the color from the grayscales, and we put color aside and we focus only on the grayscales. But remember, you have to bring color back in later. You can't paint grayscale for the rest of your life. You won't get hired. Maybe small audience for that, but you want to work with color. You want to be able to understand color later. You will not understand color properly if you are working with high contrast. High contrast means working with blacks and whites. This means that there is no color in black and no color in white. When you want to attempt to change this grayscale into into color later, what will happen is it will look either muddy or washed out, and it will not look right. The first and most important thing about skin, especially Caucasian skin or light skin or even tan skin, even browner skin, like African skin, it comes in high values. Some brown skin comes in high values. So what we need to do is completely eradicate, completely disintegrate, completely, what's another really strong word? Obliterate this high contrast because it's not working for the image. It's not working for the skin. It's not working for what the anatomy of the skin, the representation of its function, which is a see-through organ through which we breathe, and it's very specific kind of texture that we have to remember we're representing here. I'm getting rid of the high contrast everywhere, but you see we still have a face that is readable. I'm also going to get rid of the contrast. Actually, let me do this first. I'm going to erase what I need though. I'm going to erase what I need, and that means erasing the dark spots. Anywhere where we have severe core shadows is self-explanatory. They are core shadows, core to the form. They are the immediate response to the light source. So lash line, eye socket. No, that's enough shadow for the eye socket. Nostrils and lip corners, and the lip crevice. Next step is darken layer, darkening all of the excessive highlights you've got over here. These highlights do nothing for the image. They actually don't enhance the form. Excessive highlights, I mean. You only need the highlights that you need, which are the highlights that promote the feeling of an altitude, a rise in not a depression, something that is protruding. And the way to do that is to what am I saying? I'm sorry, I lost the train of thought. I'm really dizzy nowadays, but I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, so you have to make sure the highlights are specific for those areas that are elevated. Other than that, that's the only excuse you have for highlights. Unless the person has dipped themselves in oil and completely, I don't know. That's the only time where we would need to call upon high contrast to represent the texture at hand, which is a very reflective texture. Skin is not that reflective. It has reflective qualities. It's got oils and water, lots of moisture, but it's not that reflective that we have these massive peaks as you had here. You did great with features. I think the community that she had this critiqued in the community, the Google community, a great place to be. You guys have to be there. She got a critique there, and I think they touched a lot on, not going too dark too soon and stuff. But I really want to promote that you guys encouraging each other not to use too much contrast. If anything, I want the epidemic to be not using enough contrast. I would rather have a student with that weakness than a student with an excessive dependency on contrast, because that's harder to break in a student. That's harder to stop. It's harder to stop because they believe in it. They believe that it's going to read for them. They believe that it's going to work like that, and it's reminiscent of the dependency on lines. Lines are the perfect epitome of dependency on black and white, black line on white background, and that reads to them. If black and white speaks to you, you know you have a weakness. You have to start speaking in grays. Your language has to be in grays. So everyone write back the gist of what I just said. What am I talking about essentially? So much of the potential of this painting was really lessened because of this excessive dependency on the darks. As for the nose, I feel like the nose is a little bit of a caricature. This little bit you had sticking up, those little two peaks that you had, like an M, like the Majin Buu M, you need to just cut the peaks of that down because the nose does not have those kinds of edges on it. The nose you drew is pretty soft. The secondary light source, this reflection coming off the lip, is not as bright as the primary light source on the image. It has to be marginally less. You have to look at the actual light source on the actually lit side of the polygon, and then secondary light source is not a new light source that is as strong as the primary. It is always a fraction of it. So let's see what you guys are saying. By the way, who suggested to help? I'm sorry. Can you message me on Facebook? Cyrus. Can you message me on Facebook, Cyrus? Maybe we can talk about it there. Are the 14-day challenges faces based on reference, or are you supposed to construct a new face using general rules of proportion? Typically, I encourage not using a reference because you're just going to be learning how to copy a reference for 14 days. The 14 days is dedicated to enhancing your ability to sculpt, enhancing your familiarity with the facial anatomy without help, and enhancing your knowledge of male and female beauty. So all of those things can be helped with a reference, but use the reference as a guide, not as the source of all the information you're going to be exploring in those 14 days. It's not a good idea to copy that image. I want to encourage you guys to use your own imagination. This also is going to help you guys with your visual library. And it's going to bring out the you in the painting, meaning that face is going to be specific to you. No one else is going to draw a face like you do, because what you did was you drew that face for 14 days straight. That face is going to be ingrained in your mind. That's going to be your style that you're working towards. And it takes a while to develop a style. So if you're constantly pulling from references all the time and depending on them so closely, yeah, your style will be guided by realism, but there's a certain level of cartooniness or stylization that is always beautiful. That's always nice to have in your painting. So that's something that the 14-day challenge also develops. The 14-day challenge is great if you want to get into character design, if you want to get into portraiture. It's just the best way really to hone in on what your niche is. Contrast is definitely a bad habit of mine. Contrast is essentially the same as dependency on lines. Good. It's easier to remedy a lack of contrast than too much contrast. The skin isn't that reflective, so you can't put that much as we mostly do. Good. Very good. Melissa says, gray is where true reality of shapes and forms comes through. Beautifully said. Very eloquent. You don't copy the reference exactly in the 14 days, but it definitely helps having a reference on how light affects certain areas of the face. Yeah, it's nice to use the 14-day challenge references as a reference for form. Seeing form in action, form in its raw state. Not that specific face or label or gender or whatever it's going to be in your reference. Just form, just the grays and what the grays are doing with the light and the relationship of the light with the form. Contrast is a reflection of our dependency on lines. Beautiful. So let's look at the before and after. I'm just going to run a quick unsharp mask on this so we get those details back, because I used this here. If you guys have ever seen my video on how to transfer a grayscale painting into color, I explain this a lot in there. And let me just show it to you. Grayscale. Right here. Alright, if anyone has missed this, please go there. Here I explain it very, very well. Much better than I do right now. Than I would right now. And that's when you transfer over into color, it'll make the colors a lot more accessible to you, because take a look at this. Look at this little map here. don't worry about the color, just look at this little gray zone. Look at where all the best colors are. I'm going to skim through the hues. Just look at where all the best colors. Like, this is nasty. Like, who the fuck uses this color? This is nasty, this is black, and this is black. Like, you're not going to use any of these. So stay away from these edges, meaning you're only going to be here. So you're going to be in this saturation level, and this deep, and this richness level, I guess, and then this gray zone level right here. This is where all the best colors are. So those are the values you want to work with. Look at that. Some colors, like the colors of the color wheel, that need light values, like greens and yellows. These colors, you're going to have to shift it. But pretty much, if I move this along, all of these colors match each other. You can use all of these colors in the same painting. You can't use this with this. That's just nasty. It means that they're on completely different neighborhoods, countries, even planets. But over here is where all the fun is. And that's what the 14-day challenge is supposed to do. It prepares you for these principles. So let's take a look at the before and after. Before, after. This will not get you good colors. Look at that. That's not good. And all the way there? No. That is not acceptable. Unacceptable! That's the darkest, and that's dark. Those are beautiful ranges right here. We don't expect to use lots of red and oranges in the shadows anyways. Shadows are desaturated and they're cooler. We don't put any detail in shadows, so it's okay if it's a little lower. But the highlights, they need to be in this friendly zone where it's not washed out and we get to see some detail. When you look at stars and you want to observe the moon, you never observe the moon when the sun is shining directly on that side. You wait for that side to be somewhere in between light and shadow so that the moon is casting, the sunlight is casting enough shadows on the moon's crater so you can properly measure them and observe them. Meaning that too much light will wash out any form, and then looking at the moon will just be problematic. You won't see any detail. You won't be able to observe its surface. You always have to look at the moon at a perfect balance, and it's never when it's full. You always want to look at the moon when it's somewhere, the shadows are a little longer, so it starts to reveal a little bit of altitude and the specificity of buildings mountains compared to each other, and all of that detail is gone when you have too much light. So I always want to work with this. So this is a beautiful 14-day challenge. It's an absolute graduation. But this is a massive issue, a big problem that you have not tackled. And I blame myself because I don't have time to do these for you guys anymore. But this is why I do them for the graduates, so that people who want to do them again just take a look at these, and they get their critiques done. So this was Enthusiasm. Thank you for writing your name. I was like, damn it, who is it going to be? And then I looked at this and I was like, oh yes, I know who it is. So you're going on the channel, and you're going on the website feature. You're going to take one of those slots, and please message me, Enthusi, on Facebook so that I can upload your gallery link and stuff, so that people can follow you there. And everyone knows your issue now, Enthu. So everyone's going to get on your ass if you do another high contrast image. Everyone's going to take a crap on you. So that's what the community is all about. It's, providing critiques for each other. Really, really strong, honest critiques. No sugary bullshit. Really getting down to the nitty-gritty. So I love this. I love this very, very much. Thank you for doing this. I love seeing the progress. This is going on the website as well. So congratulations for Enthu. Please, you can message me on, I don't know how you can message me. Okay, you can whisper me, right? Click on my name. Right click on the Istebrak right there and whisper me all your info, like your gallery and I don't know, what else you want me to show up. And maybe I'll blurb about your experience. But a round of applause for Enthu. Congratulations on your graduation. Do you feel like you're a much stronger artist for it? Do you feel like, some people say the 14-day challenge was like a one-time shine for me and my skills. I forgot everything. That happens because you guys don't, what the 14-day challenge is awesome, what it's so awesome about it is that it encourages and tricks people into getting into good working habit. You drew almost every day for, like, when did you last do that? Right, guys? So that's what I kind of want you to do. Yeah, you graduated and you graduated flying colors, but I really want to see that you continue this work habit, this beautiful production of high quality art. I want to see it continuously. I want to see props on hair. I want you to practice hands and feet. That's how you do it, you guys. And in a year, imagine a 14-day challenge, you improve this much. In a year, imagine like, oh my God, you guys are ready to be hired, ready for the world, ready for the industry in 1 year. Who else can say that? Who else can say I'll be ready in 1 year? Absolutely sure, because I know this works. And the 14-day challenge is like a mini, like it's proof that it works. Critiques, getting critiques, working in grayscale, all of that stuff helps you learn. If you don't get critiques and you work in color, you like added 5 years to your learning process right there. So recommended calibrating your screen as best you can according to this. I don't use Facebook's. Just forgot to stream. It's beautifully proportioned. Yes, beautiful job. And thank you to everyone who gave him or her critiques. This is another 14-day challenge by someone. They posted it today. So what we have here is you have a nice cast shadow, beautiful cast shadow indicating the elevation of the nose. But what's happened is there's no cast shadow indicating other elevations. So remember, this is symbolic. If I don't see it anywhere else, I'm going to label it as symbolic. You've added this because you think and you've thought about it and you've said, hey, a nose comes with a shadow. Why not everything else? Because the laws of physics are universal. There are constant principles. Whenever we have an elevation, we will have a shadow corresponding to it. Period. That's it. That's how light works. That's how it's always going to work from now until the end of time. It's never going to, space is never going to fold and light starts to bend everywhere and we have like neighboring black holes and it's just chaos. No, that'll never happen. It's a perversion of nature. It'll never happen. So these right here, this rule, which is the ray of light that travels in a straight vector, will be interrupted, can be interrupted by a solid force. Solid, remember solid, something opaque. If it's transparent, some will go through. That's why they're see-through. And we'll have cast shadows. This is an elevation. The brow bone is an elevation. The upper lip is an elevation. Cast a shadow, cast a shadow. These are constant principles. And you see the 14-day challenge drawing portraiture doesn't exempt you from experiencing form. You're still experiencing form. And that means that you're still, you don't have to paint a jar or a sword in order to be a good artist. You don't have to have a wide variety in your portfolio. That is overrated. Everyone repeat that back to me. Having massive variety of studies in your portfolio is overrated. It means nothing if you're not in every single individual study showing off all the rules of the form. If you have only one or two drawings of faces in your portfolio and you were applying to me and I was the employer and you had only those two portraits and they were beautifully cast, even though they might not have been masterful, if they just had the rules of physics in there, I would hire you instead of the guy who gave me 100 pieces in his portfolio, who showed every other painting, every fifth or sixth painting with a cast shadow in it. Variety means nothing if you're not experiencing the constant rules of physics in your work. The rules of physics are not variety. They're actually the opposite of variety. They're very set in stone, and they don't change. They don't become random and beautiful little butterflies. They're very solid rules. They're very strict rules. So remember that variety is overrated. Just find the rule and apply it. Find the rule and apply it to your work. Any chance you get, apply the rules to your work. Even if it's one study you do that week, just please apply that work. Apply the rules. Cast shadows are one of those massive rules in form structures and designing form studies. So this cast shadow will go here. This eyelid. Look at how large the brow bone is. It's almost masculine, and I love that. I love that combination of the two. Look at what this cast shadow did. Just take a look at that magic. Before, after. It's beautiful. The upper eyelid is an elevation. Elevations interrupt cast shadows. So we're going to get a little bit of the eyelid back. God, this medicine's got me like slurring my words. And then the lower eyelid also requires a cast shadow. It's a very small cast shadow for the lower eyelid. But you have it there. Beautiful job. You've got a cast shadow of the upper brow bone, just that whole upper part of the socket casting down on the sides and the temples. And most importantly, you're missing another massive core shadow. So that's core shadow, that's not cast shadow. You're missing the quarters, the shadows on either side of the face that travel along the bend of the face. And then you've got the cast shadow of the upper lip. The upper lip is pretty large, and that chin sticks out, so that cast shadow is going to travel all the way down here. And I'm just using this as reference from the cast shadow you threw on the nose, so I'm thinking that's how the light is moving. That's how strong the light is. And now I'm just going to go in and correct a little bit of these highlights. So the highlights are wherever you threw a cast shadow, you know there's a culprit there that was once elevated, casting that shadow. That means that you have to go find those elevations and create a corresponding highlight. Meaning this highlight is necessary because I cast this shadow. It sticks out. Two things happen. Light touches the top and shadows cast from the bottom. And they're both connected to each other. That's it. That's the rule. That's the rule. But you can draw anything if you remember that sticky outy things cast light, have light thrown on them, and they cast shadows. And that's it, pretty much. All the other minor details come from that rule. Like the closer you are to the light source, the more contrast, etc. Okay. The nose itself is a little bit stuck up, like you're not really tucking the nose in as it should be. It feels like it's coming out of the side. It's supposed to feel like it's coming out. Instead, it feels more like a pig nose. I'm sorry I said pig nose. I really don't have no other word for a nose where you see too much of the nostril upturned. Like it's too much of an upturned nose. And always that little bit in that septum is always a little bit lower than the nostrils. That's just the generic nose. And it's really good to study the generic for the 14-day challenge. Just to learn some one face you know is hireable. And then the cast shadow of the upper eyelid on the lower eyelid. It needs to be a little bit stronger than what you have here. And you're still pretty early in your rendering, but it still reads and it's beautiful. And I want you to keep going. I'm going to throw a little bit of light on the waterline because it's very moist, so that ups the reflectivity potential. And it's also, one second. What's this? Okay. Sorry. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that little bit here needs to be just showing off a little bit because it's the part of the eye that from the side, if we saw the eye from the side, you see this eyeball and then this lid and then this lid. You see this little bit here? That's all open and raw and wet and wants, oh, that sounds so wrong, and wants some light on it. And it gets really like, it's just one odd freak accident of highlight that it's always visible in the Rembrandt lighting. So don't forget about this. And this one, you see this one casts the shadow. So we see the shadow cast from the side. These are very, very important little rules, and it's just a smaller version of the nose and the light on the nose. It's a consistent rule. It's consistent on the planetary, universal level and on the microscopic level. These rules of light are consistent, and they're what will guide your image to looking more realistic and more believable and more hireable and more professional looking. When it comes to the creases of the eye, this is a constant problem with you guys. You guys just throw a line. The line that you threw is a line right now. This is not a relationship of two edges against each other. What you have to do is change this line into a relationship of edges. What's this line representing? It's representing this brow bone on top of this eyelid. So this eyelid is really the dark part. That's the dark part you're drawing, is the eyelid. And the brow bone is what's on top of it. So it still needs to be thin because it does look like a line. Unfortunately, it's tricky. The crease looks like a line. But it's not dark all the way around. It's dark only in the deepest part where the eyeball tucks in between the skin under the bone. I'm trying to do 2 hours today, but I might not be good enough, but I did kind of take it easy on myself earlier, so I might be able to do a full hour, add a little bit at the end, so I can get to everyone. I'm already starting to lose my voice though. Okay. That slowly recedes into the shadow, and then in response to that, the brow bone also recedes into that shadow. So that's the tricky thing about the eyebrow bone, is that it's two edges against each other and they're both receding into shadow, but one gets the deepest crease. One is the crease itself, the object underneath. We have the highlight of the brow bone. Don't forget that. And you're just constantly layering in the shadow until you reach the darkest line, and that's the line you're actually representing. But you see how much we had to set up before we could use that line. It's just too much contrast to use it on its own. We have to represent the relationship of edges together. Let me see what everyone's saying. Everyone has elements of their face they're not fond of, but that's why faces are so interesting. No, the upturn is beautiful. The upturn is gorgeous. I think it's so cute. But I was just saying, like, I'm sorry I said pig nose, because that's rude. It makes sense for us to degrade it based on more average nose shapes for the sake of clarity in case it helps someone who is trying to draw a more typical nose. But yeah, upturned noses are common and can be very cute. Thank you, Melissa. That's exactly what we have to do with the eye socket, is just find that point where the socket descends into that cave and the brow bone kind of sits right above it. And it travels all the way across. I'm a little bit zoomed in. Gotta go back. So remember, you have to set up the brow, any line that actually feels like a line, any anatomy that works like a line, you have to set it up. Okay. Slowly descending. So see, this first brush stroke is a small brush, is a large brush. And then I'm going to lessen the opacity and shrink the brush and do the same stroke over again. And then shrink it again because I'm slowly descending it, but I can't use the same size over and over. That's all technique. Right there. Slowly representing that crease. Okay? What else? And always use a reference if you don't have anything in your visual library to help you through what it is you're trying to draw. Nothing to hint at any core shadow or core light corresponding to it. So always get a reference for that. That's when the references are useful for 14-day challenge. But let's take a look at the before and after. It is asymmetrical, but to save time. Before, after. The highlights were free. They were free roaming highlights, free range. They had no one mastering. So the shadows now have come in and proven those highlights. They've kind of created a relationship with the light for those highlights. And you're actually sculpting. That's the key word. Everyone write it back to me in capital letters. Sculpting. Remember when I asked for a haiku and like you guys actually gave me a haiku? Oh man, that's funny. I should have saved it. What's wrong with me? The nostril, do not outline the nostril. Just, you know this edge, you know this color? If you don't know what to do, carry that color all the way to the edge and just start with the background color. That's how you get rid of a line. You simply just ignore it. You ignore its presence. And you replace it with an edge. And that'll be that. Sculpting! Yay! Awesome. A little bit of light sits on this over here. Lines are not necessary if you have your brush and your brush is blendable and it's got pen pressure and you have access to Photoshop, what is left for the line other than, you know, being obsolete as a sketch, as a tool for sketching. So right here, this detail is created by not blending. This detail is created by having this harsh edge here. And this temperature of this cast shadow should be the same temperature as this cast shadow right here. But this one is a tad more light because there's less light casting this one. So it's a little bit lighter. And this temperature here should be the same as this one. So we're using the exact same color. I'm just drop tooling the color and using it. But what happens is that it's a little less sharp and a little darker because it's part of that larger primary core shadow, the beard. Sorry, one sec. The chin is a little extended. That highlight on the eye just travels just like this. Just in between the nose and the eyelid, you have that little crease where the eye bag starts. And that's kind of what I think what you were going for. Sorry, I'll show you the before and after in a second. I got carried away. Okay. But all in all, beautiful large brush work. I really promote the use of large brush. It's just the best. And what it does is it lets you guys study your technique as well as learning the larger core shadows, the polygon and everything. The larger your brushwork, the more polygon your thinking is. You're thinking more polygon when it comes to shadows. So you're thinking about the underlying geometry. That is like the best way to rush getting better at lighting, is to think about the polygon. So before, after. Before, a lot more cartoony. I'm not sure how to explain it. A lot more representational. A lot more, this one right here, the before, is a lot more unfinished. It feels unfinished. And when we throw this in, it's like, boom, holy shit, there's a light? What? No way. There's a light environment? No way, Jose. I didn't see it before, and now there it is. Same temperature, sorry, I forgot that. And working at a high value, when you transfer into color later, will allow you to really experiment with these temperatures that I'm talking about. That's kind of an advanced thing, keeping temperatures consistent, but I'm still going to introduce it to you guys now. This is a beautiful 14-day challenge submission. Thank you. I congratulate you for coming this far, and I encourage you to finish for the full 2 weeks. So good job. Whose is this, by the way? Are they here? Is this X-Ren? I got the large brush from UN Sargent. I used to do really small brush work. Draken, with the worth of a cup, with a cup coffee, you can save this lion's life. Cost of 1 cup of coffee a day. So $30. Why can't you just say $30 a month? Oh, that's X-Ran. So congratulations, X-Ran. Keep going, keep going. Let me just get this. Stupid mouse is too fast. And there we go. So this is day 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. I think, yeah, 7. No, yes, 7. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 second, everybody. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, this is day 7. This is a 5. Okay. So day 7, number 7. I think they're at the same level as the other person. Yeah, they're on the same time as the one we just saw. Let me put on my glasses again. So I got all philosophical and took them off. Can I snatch the image from you, Mr. Back? You can click Control H, I think, to get rid of them. Yeah, to hide, but then you have to unhide, and then you'll come back. I'll send it to you after XRN, okay? Can you message me on Facebook? Okay, so remember that thing I said about the temperature of the cast shadows? Over here, they need to be a little bit lighter. That is too much. All in all, this is another example of using too dark too soon. So that temperature problem comes from going too dark too soon. Imagine, guys, take a moment, just one moment to think about when you use too much contrast, you will never be advanced enough to ever even think about color temperature. Isn't that sad? There will never be a delicate enough range of grays for you to ever explore with saturation and pastel colors. Oh my God, that's so sad. That really hurts my heart. But it's just you're making yourself, like, separating yourself from ever playing around with that fun stuff. You know, you want to graduate to that fun stuff. So keep that contrast low where it's not necessary. Keep it there where it's necessary, meaning in the dark spots. That's natural contrast. The whites of the eyes and the blacks of the eyes. That's natural contrast. We want that, okay? Don't mistake me for saying I don't want any blacks in the eyes. I want some. They're a part of the integral anatomy of the female form, or human form. The lash line is also dark. I didn't know you wear glasses. Yeah, I wear glasses. I have to. Spent my childhood reading Lord of the Rings in the dark room with a candle on just so I could feel like I'm there. So I fucked up my eyes real bad. Okay, now I'm going to bring down the highlights. I'm going to get into a darkened layer. I'm just going to bring all these bad boys down. Goodbye. Oh. Just like this. Look at that. It's so unfair. Why? You know, and you place them in all the wrong spots, by the way. The highlights, if it's in the typical 45-degree angle light source in front and on top of the head, like ahead of the head a little bit on the top, is along this, and this. These are the lightest spots. There's nothing lighter than this. If this has gone lighter than this, you've taken a wrong turn. Turn back. Turn back. Okay, these are the hot spots right here. And these hot spots correspond directly with the core shadows. This is a core shadow. This is a core shadow. This is a core shadow area. This is a core shadow area. This is a core shadow area. This here is a core shadow area. All of these are responding to each other. They're hand in hand. You had them all wrong. You have them all wrong. Rethink everything. Alright. And I'm just going to bring in the darks over here. And what you want to do, if you don't know how to set up the light source, that app is coming out soon. So that's a plus. That will help you guys determine the core light signatures of every individual kind of light source style. So where to place, where the camera is, where the person is, and where the light source is. That's all going to be accessible to you in that app, but it's not around yet. So what you can do for now is somewhere in the community, someone posted different light source situations. Wait a second, I think I have it in the class resources. Come on. Come on. That's only from the side. What the fuck? Maybe it's there? No. I guess I didn't save it. Let me find it. Okay, so where is it? Time to scroll. Scrolly, 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 scrolly. Hang tight. Okay. Sorry, guys. Maybe you should check your Instagram or Twitter in the meantime. Or your Facebook. Come on. I know where you are. It was posted weeks ago. Oh, there it is. Woo! I hope it's in here. Where's the top-down light? Which one is it? Well, they're all kind of from the top, but I'm looking for that very specific one. Very rarely do they keep it symmetrical because that doesn't look too good. But this one, I guess. This one is kind of in front of the face, not really completely on down, but you see this light spot, and this light spot. You see these core lights? These are the exact areas we're always looking out for. So compare it to this one. This one has very different light spots, hot spots, corresponding to the structure and geometry of the face. You got the side of the face where that cube happens. Remember, there's an angle here, a right angle, and the face starts going to the side and away from you. The laser comes out this way, and this laser comes out this way. And these are different signatures, but when we're talking about this standard character design, standard portraiture light source right here, the light is coming from above down. We have these areas as the dark spots, as I pointed them out, and these areas as the hot spots, and they're corresponding to each other, of course, because there are hills and valleys, and those areas are responding to each other. So for every hill, there is a valley. That's how the rule works. If you put a shadow, ask yourself, holy crap, I just used a shadow shade. Am I doing this right? Have I drawn a highlight for it yet? The sides of the nose are overly shadowed. Do not overdo it. The sides of the nose are midtones. This is midtone and this is highlight. If this is shadow right here, we don't put shadow on the side of the nose. It's just not going to work. It's not a cave. So the side of the nose is completely exposed. So using too much shadow on the side of the nose is just completely wrong. You want to use a midtone on the side of the nose and use highlights to show its altitude. So now where we place the highlights is just along here. All these areas that are directly connected to the shadows. Okay? Is everybody with me? Can everyone repeat that back to me, what I just demonstrated? Oh, thank you for posting it. Sorry, I just got carried away. Everyone write that back to me. So I do want you guys to kind of just spread the word on this class, on the live class, so that we can get some attention from Twitch. It'll give me something to come from when I talk to them about nudity, because I do want to do a class on anatomy soon. I want to do a theme on anatomy, and I won't be able to if they're gonna freaking ban me just because I drew boobs or something, or you guys sent me like a tasteful nude that you guys drew. So I need you guys to get on board with this, publicizing this class, at least just to hit like 70. I don't know how we're gonna do that. Like, you guys are a perfect number. I don't need it. Like, I'm very thankful for you guys being here. Don't take it the wrong way. I actually like this number that we have today. It's manageable. But as for like how Twitch works and getting access to that, to all those features, I don't know what kind of features are there. I forget completely. Like, is it partner features, like monetizing, or is it like quality, like video quality? But basically I want it because I'll have a team behind me all requesting that we not get banned. This channel be taken as an art education channel, so we don't get banned if we ever do a lesson on breasts or the stomach area, because you can get in trouble for drawing those areas. Okay, so we need to get the roundness back to the face. The eyes were a little bit slanted. The eyeball is a sphere. That's what it is. So everything has to contort around that sphere. Reinforce that function, and the function is embedded in the anatomy when we have a spherical eyeball. So I kind of changed the face a little bit, but it's okay. Actually, what I'm going to do, adjustments, now that we've balanced the contrast, we can use this tool. just so that we can see a proper before and after. Sharpen and sharp mask. Okay. Before and after. Do you see those terrible darks that you were using? It just looked like paint. And you had the lights in all the wrong areas. You missed the upper lid light, upper mouth light. You kind of overdid the contrast near the eyes. That is another dependency on lines. The eyebrows you drew are just lines. You have to give the eyebrows some texture. If you don't know how to do eyebrows and you're like, fuck, I don't know how to do eyebrows, just make them a smudge. I'd rather have a smudgy brow that is really, really impressionist than having a line for a brow, because that just looks like, it looks fake. Eyebrows have cast shadows on them. So they'll read faster if they're smudgy and messy than they would if they were lines. So does everyone see this before and after? These shadows, these shoulders are starting too soon. Again, look at a reference if you don't know what you're doing with a certain area. Okay, so you can certainly send feedback. Whatever you specifically have to do, like leave creepy message to the Twitch HQ. I guess, yeah. Say, hey, we're requesting that you guys don't ban this channel if there is going to be nudity. Yeah, there's going to be nudity. There's going to be nipples. That's what boobs are. There's going to be a stomach. There's going to be a butt. There's going to be asses all over this this channel. So we're going to get in trouble. So what you guys can do for me is request that this channel not be banned and taken seriously, I guess is what I can... that you come to it, you're a regular watcher, you don't want to see this channel get banned. If we want to do an anatomy week and how to draw anatomy, and if they ask you how does this related to games, I guess you can say character design and pre-production for games. That's as much involved in games as anything. So that's what we're learning. We're learning how to draw. I mean, what game is going to need nudity anyway, but I don't know. Dear Twitch AQ, free Istebrak, you commie bastards. Freedom to the nipple. Or pepperoni slices. Hi, I see that you're back. Can someone post the link again, please? Who's back? And I think with breast studies will be difficult. Yeah, can't you flag your channel as being mature audience only? I already did that. But they still have that risk. Tell them it's a warning, and if they pop off, OG is still fire on them. Did you guys see this before and after? Back to focus. Before, after. If you wanted this kind of eye, remember there is a separation between a nude eye and eye with makeup. If you wanted makeup on this lady, you can do that. You can do that, but you have to represent pigmentation as the cause of all this darkness. And really, you never put makeup on the inside of the eyeball anyway, like on the inside in between the nose. Makeup hovers just around here. Like it's just limited to this. So you want that, like crazy Vogue makeup, like go for it. It'll work. But remember, you're not... If you're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing this, you can't use the makeup excuse. I'm sorry. You can use this though. You can do the massive ass brows. Just make sure that they are going to be, textured properly. You can use the black lip. I don't care. Whatever you have to design. You can have the war paint. Just remember, this is pigmentation and this is the neutral face. All right? No, I'm not changing my stream site again. No, that migration was very difficult. It was a 10-year migration to Mecca, and it's not going to happen again. That Twitch is that one time. I'm very stubborn and I don't like change. And that one stream, one migration from live stream to Twitch is the last thing I'm going to do. No, you can use contouring. You can do makeup, the equivalent of contouring and makeup. But remember, and everyone listen to me right now, every drawing you will ever draw has makeup in it. You just don't know. You're already doing contouring. You don't know it, but it's there because you're drawing the ideal. When girls wear makeup, they're heading for what you drew. They want to look like what you drew. They are the ones using the makeup to enhance their beauty so that they can be. You're already drawing the beautiful. Every drawing you will ever draw has makeup in it. Let me show you what no makeup looks like and how that looks like in a painting. No makeup. Okay. This right here is not something we would draw. No offense to her, she's a very beautiful lady. But those dark spots, the pigmentation on the side of the nose, that's all stuff we use concealer for. Now let me show you the same lady. What's her name again? Tyra Banks, yeah. Makeup. The girls you draw, trust me when I tell you this, look like this. This is the girl you go for. This is the girl that you guys draw. All of you draw something very similar to this. This has makeup in it. So you guys have the preset with makeup on. That's the preset you guys are working with, okay? So when we're drawing girls, we're always drawing them with makeup on. We're always removing those unflattering things like the dark spots and the splotches. Okay? Yeah, tricky girls. Girls are very, very tricky. I think if women stopped wearing makeup, things would be very, very weird in the world. So this girl, if she hadn't had any makeup on, we would see something like this. We would see that extra bit of pigmentation. We would see much more invisible brows. We would see more on the side of the nose. We would see more nude lips. No one really draws this kind of drawing intentionally. They want something that looks alive. You probably will have extra pigmentation here, probably like acne. No one really does this. No one really does that, and it goes on. The nose would be a little darker because it's got its own problems. And you've got like pimples. I get mine right over here. Right here. One time I got the perfect Hindu dot pimple. Oh, why am I telling you people? Okay. And what else? Like, nobody draws this. People draw the pretty version, right? Okay, I think that's done. Flatten the image, call it a day. This one. And then we've got the before and after for Pineapple, her before and after for her 14-day challenge. And it looks really, really great, amazing improvement. There are some minor non-form related issues. I'm just going to focus on those because I talked enough about form today. The head size is a bit adolescent. The size of the nose is too small. The lips are too big. And I'm saying too in regards to the standard face. I'm sure people have these exact features somewhere in the world. The eyes are too big. So we want to draw the standard, the preset. But it's going to be your style preset. It's going to be the you. But we still want that because what happens is that you become, your work looks more professional, it looks less quirky. The brows were too expressive. So I'm going to bring down one side of the brow and raise the other side. Trying to just give them nondescript. Remember, you're not allowed to paint expression on the 14-day challenge. Maybe a smile. And like, that's it. Like a slight grimace, and that's it. It doesn't have to be a smile. It can be just like a grouchy face, but it cannot have like a full surprised, or disgusted, or romantic or something. So you want to learn this basic one so that you can alter it later and customize it according to what you need it for. Don't make the nostrils as big or as dark as the eyes, and don't make the lips as dark as the nostrils. So let's look at the before and after. Before, after. Just a little bit more mature, less of a adult features on a baby's head. I gave the face some length. If you want to add maturity to your image, to your painting, you want to make it look less like a baby, you have to lengthen the head. I shrunk the eyes to be less of a caricature, and I'm going to balance the grays 1 second. And just bring these excessive whites that you use. It looks like they're crying. Don't use too many whites on the eye. They're really not that necessary. One light is all you really need. And you kind of drew the no makeup on the eyes. That's cool. I'm just going to lighten this up right along here, just for beauty's sake. And that's it. You have the rest of the highlights down. You have these shadows down as well. You have the chin light. It's just a little bit brighter. Upper lip is a little bit darker. We need some of this highlight on the top lip. The lips are pretty big. The bigger the lip, the more light it catches. Less excessive, like structural, like jagged edges to the cheekbone. Just soften them out. So this face has the generic influence, but it's not a generic face. The shadow needs to be raised up a little bit. But it's not a generic face. But it has been influenced by like the standard. But it's still unique to you and your style. Of course, it's my paint over, but it's still really close to what you drew before. Before, after. Okay? I hope today we covered a lot. Congratulations on your completion too, Pineapple. I'm really proud of you guys. I will be throwing you guys Pineapple, if you want, you can continue this. I want you to see it. If you have the time, please correct it so that I can see it. But yeah, I'll be adding Enthusiasm to the feature. I'm really proud of you guys. Keep it up. There's nothing wrong with repeating a 14-day challenge again. And I kind of want to see a 3/4 view 14-day challenge for those who've already graduated it. Go for a 3/4 view, see what that's like. You guys have the coolest names. So thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.